Hey Lonnie, it's Sharon here. I am super excited that you reached out to me with these photos. I initially recorded this and then turned it into a video and promptly posted it on YouTube and sent you a link. Except somehow none of the audio went through. I went back to the PowerPoint and none of the audio was saved. So I got to start the whole thing over again. Apologies because it's a day and a half later than it should have gotten to you, but here we go anyways. I hope that this helps you, and if you have any questions following up, don't hesitate to reach out again. If you have an opportunity to send me the Firestop submittals, I would love to hop on a video call so we could walk through those submittals together. If that's something that you'd like to do, I'd be more than happy to do that with you. Anyways, let's get going with the photos that you sent me. I know you only sent 3 photos, but some of the photos had more than one issue, so I tried to crop the photos down a little bit, so you'll see what I mean as we get going. I have 2 concerns with this particular issue. The first is the fact that you have a coupler and the plastic pipe in the plane of the rated wall, and the other is the annular space. So let's tackle these 2 separately. If you look closely at a PVC pipe and the coupler that it chucks into, you can see that they're different materials. And since they're different plastic materials, we don't know the implications of the fire dynamics in the performance of our Firestop system. Also, when you look at the application we have here, we know that we've got both the coupler and the PVC pipe, so we've got this added thickness of plastic material. When we have a Firestop system around a plastic device, we need to use an intumescent material. Intumescent is simply a fancy word that we use in the Firestop industry to mean that it's going to expand when it's exposed to higher temperatures. Higher temperatures such as those that you'd find in a fire scenario. So we need to know that we have enough intumescent oomph in our Firestop system to close down not just the plastic pipe, but also the coupler. And we don't know if this material that the coupler is made out of will have different fire dynamics. So it's really important that you either have a tested and listed Firestop system that tells you how to protect this, or that you have an engineering judgment from the Firestop manufacturer. Either way, once you have a document, you'll know exactly how this needs to be fire stopped. Another challenge that you'll see here is the excess annular space, the space that's around that plastic pipe and the coupler. That's a considerable gap, and I'm concerned that it may be more than what would be allowed in our Firestop systems. I can't tell you how to fire stop this properly until I have a document in front of me. But I will tell you that there is a big difference depending on whether or not this is an 1.5-inch plastic pipe or if it's slightly larger. If it's larger, it may need a fire stop collar. But since that's coming down at a 90 degree, you may have a challenge getting a collar in the space between the bend and the drywall. So this could be a particular challenge. There's a handful of solutions that I can help a contractor with, or you're welcome to reach out to all the different Firestop manufacturers and see what they might be able to do to offer solutions. No matter how you choose to resolve this, please make sure that the Firestop installation is in conformance with either an engineering judgment or a tested and listed system. If you'd like to have more information about engineering judgments, please go to the International Firestop Council's website, that's just firestop.org, and there will be guidelines for engineering judgments. Okay, on this picture we've got 2 things. First, I want to remind you that you want to look at your floor ceiling assembly and identify what kind of drywall is required. So remember, you need to check to see if it's the Type X drywall or if it's the proprietary Type X drywall, which we referred to in the training class as a Type C drywall. Remember, one is just rebar and the other is rebar and popcorn. Hopefully that movie is still playing in your head, but that's the first point that I wanted to bring up. The second point I wanted to bring up is the big red stripe right between the wall and the ceiling. I'm not exactly sure what that's doing here. So here's the thing. Firestop is supposed to be installed in accordance with a tested and listed system. There are no tested systems that I'm aware of that connect drywall to drywall, unless there's supposed to be some sort of movement in there. And then there's some rather interesting systems for that, but I can't imagine that you're expecting any movement in that particular application. What I would really want to see is if you were able to get above this assembly and look at where the wall and the ceiling connect. My hope is that when it connects, you'll see it comes to a 90-degree angle. Sometimes I see applications where when they bring the two vertical and horizontal pieces of drywall together, they don't connect appropriately. And what I mean is that if you were to look at it from the top, it would look like a stair step instead of a 90-degree angle, meaning that you don't have the proper overlap from the horizontal to the vertical. You'd have to check the detail to see if it matters which one overlaps in what direction, but basically what I want you to pay attention to for this, aside from look at the detail and see what the requirements are, is make sure that you actually have an overlap in that location. And Firestop, really, I think it's probably being used to cover a multitude of sins. So I would love to be wrong in that application, but those are my concerns in this image. If you fast forward to the point in the project where this plastic pipe is run and the insulation is completed and Firestop is installed, that's a dangerous place to be. But I love this image because it shows us that this is a plastic pipe surrounded by fiberglass insulation. This means that even though we'll have to have a WL5000 series system for our insulated pipe, we need to make sure that that system allows for a plastic pipe. The majority of the listed systems for the 5000 applications for our insulated pipes are going to have a metal pipe inside. But when you have the combination of a plastic pipe and an insulated pipe, then you're going to have a unique Firestop application. So as you look through your WL5000 series systems, or actually some of the systems that I've seen for plastic pipes land in the 2000 series systems. So you may get one of those as well, and that's okay as long as that system allows for fiberglass insulation. Now, I can't see perfectly that this is fiberglass, so I'm guessing that that's what this is, but double check. If it is something else, let me know, and let me know what it is, and I'll see how I can help you with that. So as you pull together the Firestop submittals, feel free to send them over to me and I'll help you root through them. Okay, in this one we're looking at our plastic fire sprinkler pipe. The first thing I want to talk to you about is compatibility. I highly recommend on any project that uses plastic sprinkler pipes that you take a look at the Firestop material that will be installed onto them and go online, Google that product and PVC compatibility or whatever brand plastic pipe that you're using. And you want to make sure that that material has been tested and found to not have any compatibility issues with plastic sprinkler pipe. I'll tell you that almost every Firestop manufacturer has materials that are not going to be able to be used in conjunction with CPVC pipes. So take a close look at that. Make sure that you don't have a problem on this project. The other thing I want to caution you about, and we can't really tell if it's a problem or not because we've already got the Firestop installed. So in this project, if you're able to move forward in the project to where there's plastic sprinkler pipes that are not installed, I'd like you to take a look at the annular space and see if there's enough room that they're able to get the required 5/8 inch depth of sealant. Now, on a project like this, you can do my absolute favorite cheat. You ready for this? You walk around to the other side of the wall because this wall, you only have drywall on one side of it. So right now you can go over there, you can take a look, and if you see Firestop coming through to the opposite side of that sheet of drywall, then you know that they've installed 5/8 inch depth of sealant. However, if the drywall is tight to that pipe, then all I've done is smeared a bunch of Firestop on the outside edge. And if there's a fire, the sealant is simply going to mushroom away from the plastic pipe, and the end result is you'll have a hole in your rated wall because the Firestop is not installed properly. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or if you want more information, there's two different articles. One is Goldilocks and the Plumber, because when it comes to plastic pipes, if the opening is too big, you have a problem. If the opening is too small, you have a problem. And it's very much like the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And then the sequel to that, of course, is Goldilocks and the Horror Story, which tells you the story of a plumber that basically did things wrong and they wound up completely over their head. In this particular photo, I want you to pay attention to the threaded rods that are coming through our ceiling. I can't tell you how many times I walk on projects and I see the threaded rod and it looks just like this. The problem is you now have a hole in your fire-rated ceiling. And you remember the video that we watched where the UL guy was saying that even a small hole can act like a blowtorch. Also remember that when there is a fire, if it gets into the corridor, all of the pressure is going to be right up there at the ceiling, meaning it's exactly going to be like a blowtorch. All of the smoke and fire is going to be pushing through there, and your fire dynamics of that fire-rated ceiling will not perform as expected. So you need to be able to protect that. That means that you need to have fire stop. How do you install the fire stop? Again, you need to have a listed system or an engineering judgment. So I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to shoot them my way. Please share this with the general contractor and the entire build team on this project. And if you get your hands on the fire stop submittals, shoot a copy over to me. And if you'd like, we will sit down and go through them real quick. I wish that your project were closer because I would love to just walk this job site with you. Unfortunately, it looks as though you're about 2 hours away. So unless I was headed down there for something else, which at this point I'm not able to actually come and help you out. But you've got access to me through my email and you've got my phone number, so don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks again. This has been fun.